everybody. It's Safi and Marco, and we're doing another Friday the 13th movie, next to the last one.
Yeah.
Because I'm sick of it.
Really?
Yes, I am.
Why?
Because they're just getting worse and worse.
Oh.
But this is the big one, and I actually remember when they were advertising it, there were posters everywhere.
Yeah, they really advertised it a lot, and
It's Freddy versus Jason. Now, I never saw it. I didn't want to see it. And I had an adverse reaction to Superman versus Batman. Of course, those are two superheroes who are supposed to be on the same team, protecting the American people, or protecting people, period. And I thought that was the most ridiculous idea I'd ever heard of. And even when I saw it, I didn't like it at all. And when I knew it would be that way. This one, I have the same feeling. It's different. Now, these aren't two superheroes. These are two villains. But I didn't like the idea of this one either. I think it's stupid. Because, well, they did it in a certain way where it was kind of like mostly Freddy framed by Jason. In other words, most of the story was Freddy controlled, and then Jason popped in on the outside because he brought him in. Go ahead, Marco.
Well, there would be two stories with this movie for me. Because I used to watch this movie a ton of times as a kid. Because it was very fun as a kid to watch this over-the-top, goofy, gory movie. I guess gory at the end, bloody at the end. As a kid, I really just like to watch the movie just to get to the end too. Like, most of the movie, even as a kid, I did not like it. But then at the end, I liked it as a kid. And the first memory would be, in Jimmy's room, there was one day where I remember specifically he was looking at the website for Freddy vs. Jason, and they have one clip on there that you could watch. And so he put that clip on, and I saw that clip when I was I guess 3 years old or 4 years old. And it was just this shitty short clip of that stoner guy seeing the Freddy worm thing come into the room. And I saw that as a kid, and I guess, Jimmy was really excited for it. And then, I couldn't go to it, though, so... But then I ended up watching it later on at home. And I just watched it over and over again, and I mostly zone out until it got to the end. Mostly. And then I did this project for 4-H Club, and it was all around collectibles and collecting, anything that you wanted. You could say that you collected it, and I said that I collected, printed out movie posters, which I did. I printed out movie posters, and I taped them on my wall instead of buying movie posters. And the Freddy vs. Jason poster I used to really like a lot. And I took a picture of that, of myself holding the poster, which I think it's on the old laptop, and so I can't get that right now. And at this 4-H county fair, the project was being judged by this older woman, of course. And she saw that picture and she's like, I hope you're not allowed to watch that movie. What do you think of that, Safi?
Oh, brother.
What do you think of that?
Well, I don't know what to say, because he had to have been, oh, God.
I think I might have been 4th or 5th grade. Yeah. And she was like, I hope you're not allowed to watch that movie.
What it was a little book. It was like a small scrapbook, and so you could just cut out miniature pictures of each movie, and paste them in there, and then tell something about it, whatever.
Yeah.
And so that was because he couldn't bring in
full-size posters too,
or the DVDs. Just wasn't. It was better to have something, because of what they do is they put that stuff on display, and it's very dangerous to bring things that are valuable
to the county fair.
They can get stolen.
Yeah.
So this little scrapbook was it was very well put together, and it was a good representation of his collection of movies he liked to watch. And anyway, that's my side of it.
That was so hilarious. It's like, why would I have the poster if I didn't watch the movie? Like, yeah. That's one of those, like, old bitches that, you know, there's a lot of those in the 4-H project stuff. Like, we did another project on pets, and I brought in the cat, Mandy, and this old bitch asked if the cat had been declawed, and she acted like it was a bad thing that I didnn't have her declawed, which is a terrible
cats.
Yeah,
to say that.
Yeah, terrible procedure that shouldn't be done on anything at all.
No.
So, you know, that's just another example. But this movie, now that I've seen it years later, I really don't like it at all. You know, maybe it's just because I watched it so many times as a kid. But then again, I've seen a lot of other horror movies a lot as a kid, like the Psycho movies and Halloween movies and Nightmare on Elm Street and Puppet Master, and those aren't old to me at all. So this movie's just bad, though. Like, I really don't like it. It's hard for me to find, like, much of anything that's good about it. Like, there's so many bad things, and I feel like this is what Freddy vs. Jason was. Like, this was the big climactic, like, showdown of, like, Freddy vs. Jason. Like, what a letdown. Like, what a complete waste. What a total, like, just trash movie. And the fact that this was the finale of New Line Cinema and their epic failure to do the Friday the 13th series. Like, what a piece of crap. You know, like, if I saw this in theaters, I would have been mad. Like, I wouldn't have been mad if I saw any of the other Friday the 13th movies in theaters except this one. This one just, it's terrible. And it's not even a Friday the 13th movie. It's a fucking Nightmare on Elm Street movie where they're like, you know, well, Safi doesn't know because she hasn't really seen those movies very much.
Well, I haven't seen them before. I may have seen one.
The first one.
And that's it.
I don't know, Safi. I think you've seen the fourth one.
The first one. You've seen the first one a million years ago.
No, maybe
there's Johnny Depp in it, right?
Yeah, maybe the fourth one too.
I don't think so, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
But it's basically like they tried to solve the plot hole of, you know, in the first movie, they figure out that if you just don't acknowledge Freddy's existence and you're not afraid of him, then he'll go away because he can't exist. And so that's what Nancy does at the end of the original, and then it of course backfires, and there, you know, there's the stupid twist in that movie. Well, in this one, it's like, oh, this whole town of Springwood, Ohio, which this is another movie too where it's supposed to take place in Ohio and they shoot it in California. And the town conspires to forget about Freddy Krueger and lock up anyone who's had dreams with him in it and drug them until, you know, they forget or whatever.
It's a medicine that actually keeps you from dreaming, which means you couldn't have REM sleep.
Oh.
Which that's so unhealthy. That's what was happening to Michael Jackson, and he died.
I wonder what Michael Jackson thought of the Freddy vs. Jason movie.
He liked horror movies.
Does he like Freddy vs. Jason?
I don't know.
This doesn't sound like Michael Jackson at all.
Yeah. I don't know if he liked those. I just remember, I thought he liked, because he did that Thriller video.
He liked children.
It had something to do, Bless it.
No, not in an inappropriate way.
Whatever. I'm not going to say anything more about that. But anyway, it was. But anyway, the main character, which I don't know if you want to call, she wasn't the only main character, but she was like the final girl.
The stupid final girl.
And there's a final boy.
Yeah, and he sucks even worse.
But her father is a physician, and he's a GP, and apparently he says her mother died in a car wreck. Well then, so anyway, all this Freddy thing is intertwined with them, but we find that out at the end actually. But he is the one at the mental institution, whatever, who's drugging all the kids. And then they actually have a wing in the place with all these kids who are put in a coma because they dreamed too much and they could never come back or something, whatever. So you have that. And then you have these two boys. And they get out.
And Safi, did you recognize the blonde one?
Actually, they both look familiar.
The blonde one was the kid from Goosebumps, the werewolf of Beaver Swamp.
Oh, really?
And then I will just say that the main guy who I despised and I thought I hated him, awful character, just like most of the characters in this movie. He actually looked a lot like my history teacher. You know.
Yeah.
Well, no, you didn't meet him because he had a game.
Oh.
A softball game, or what was it? Volleyball. He looked a lot like him, actually.
Oh.
Safi.
Okay, well, anyway, so there's this main girl. Just let me tell you, at the beginning, you have this house, and, well, you have Jason, or Freddy, and this is what's going on. Freddy gets Jason to think about his mother somehow. I don't know if he puts him to sleep, and have his mother tell him to go to Elm Street and kill everybody on it or something. I don't know. It's really weird. And what Freddy wants, he wants Jason to stick around and do, and I don't really understand how it works.
No, well, he has unlimited powers in the dream world. That's how it works.
But he wants Jason. He doesn't have enough power yet.
Well, that's because they made everyone forget about him, the conspiracy, and so what he wants to do is have Jason kill enough people in Springfield or Springwood, Ohio. Kill enough people so that they'll think that it's Freddy and get scared of Freddy again and give him more power. And then
I just wonder how that works.
And then he's like, "Fuck off, Jason. Nobody wants you, mama's boy." And that's the story. And so it's all about Freddy Krueger. It's stupid. I hate it. I didn't enjoy it at all.
And Freddy gets mad at Jason because he'll come up and he'll say, "That was my kill. That was supposed to be mine." And he got really mad at him.
Yeah.
And that builds up to the very end. Anyway, well, there's this girl. She's the daughter of the doctor. So she doesn't know about Jason or Freddy Krueger. And she thinks her mother died in a car wreck. But somebody tells her, this boy who was in the mental institution, I guess it was her boyfriend, he escaped with this other boy who Marco just talked about being in Werewolf of Beaver's. Was it Werewolf Skin or Werewolf of Beaver's?
Oh, Safi.
And the Goosebumps show.
Oh.
And,
well, and then also you have the girl who smelled like cigarettes. And her boyfriend gets killed. You know, she's very, very popular, and she was in It Came From Beneath the Sink. Goosebumps.
Well, she did look familiar. But she was older.
Yeah.
And so
that's what happens when people grow up. They get older.
So you have this daughter, and it ends up, we find out almost at the end that Freddy Krueger is the one who killed her mother. The boyfriend thought the father had killed the mother, but no, it was Freddy Krueger. And so she wants him to go after him, or she wants him dead. But it's a very convoluted story. It was really a little bit hard to keep track of.
Yeah, it's just because I've seen it so many times that I understood. Like, you know, as a kid, I was like, you know, I don't know what's going on, but there's kills and there's other things in the movie, so...
I mean, these kids, they have a huge party out in the country.
The cornfield, and I was like, uh-oh, where's the children of the corn? That would have been funny.
Those too. If you live in a small town, that's something you do.
Well, that would have been really funny if they had the children of the corn show up.
They would have had a three-way conjoining of villains.
And they could have been like, Outlander!
Anyway,
Right, Safi?
So, of course, Jason he's now killing people on Elm Street. He killed the boyfriend of the girl who smoked cigarettes, and that guy was abusive. And then...
well, he was gross, too.
Gross.
Like, all the characters... The people in this movie were so gross. Like, they were just so, like, ew.
And then he just starts killing various people, and...
Yeah, because he loves killing, so...
Yeah, and so Freddy is unhappy. And so, God, I don't even know. It was so complicated.
Yeah.
And it just... And then they had a friend who smoked dope all the time. He was just constantly smoking pot.
And there was also the black girl, and this is yet another movie in the series that proves that black people don't die first in horror movies, so that's completely false.
No, she was like almost next to the last.
She is the last victim of the entire movie.
Okay.
Safi, so like that's pretty embarrassing, guys. Like it just shows that like that whole thing is a myth, complete bullshit, and yeah, that's pretty bad. I didn't even remember that. Like, she's the last victim. She's the last person to get killed, and she's the worst. Like, she's awful. She's only in this movie because she was some famous singer, and she's awful looking, and she's a terrible character. She makes these jokes at the end that were like, just because she called Freddy a faggot, that I didn't have a problem with that. But I just thought the joke was trash. Like, her jokes were just the worst jokes that you felt like, this is like the actress's like personal commentary on the movie. It's not even like the script, like they wrote a good script for a character. This is just like, it was almost like when I watched Rambo Last Blood, there were people there, and they were like saying, "Oh no, oh, don't go in there, oh no, he didn't." And it felt like a bit like just listening to some random bitch in the movie theater talk about Freddy Krueger. Like, she was so annoying, and I hated her character, right, Safi?
Yeah.
What really? What else?
So. I don't know what else to say about it. It's very complicated, and I don't even know if it's worthwhile telling about it, except that it just wasn't good. And
well, then you also have the nerdy guy friend, and I guess he's nerdy. Like, there's literally, he's the character where the final girl, she really should be with him, and then of course she has to be with the pretty boy instead. And so then near the end, he basically sacrifices himself and dies, and then the pretty boy gets to survive so that the final girl and the pretty boy can be together.
Yeah.
Very, very shitty. And that's another reason why I hate this movie, is because this movie is just so dated and so like over stylized in a really weird way that doesn't fit at all. And I hate these, like, stereotypes. Like, another thing is, they have the whole thing with, like, if you have sex, you get killed. Because, the final girl, she's a virgin. And they emphasize that, she doesn't even look like a virgin, by the way. And then Freddy Krueger tries to rape her at the end. And you know, they didn't even have the balls to do that, and you know, because then Jason comes in and tries to kill him, and this movie is terrible. It's just terrible. It's not fun to watch. I hate the style of this movie. This was made by the same guy who made Bride of Chucky.
Oh.
And Bride of Chucky had the same kind of weird style to it by Ronnie Yu. And the difference was Bride of Chucky was really good. Right, Safi?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. This movie is trash. Safi?
Yeah, it's just really hard to follow, which is kind of amazing.
Really?
Especially at the end, you know, what is it supposed to be? It's Freddy versus Jason. So, you know, like I told you, Freddy was getting sick of Jason killing his targets. And he felt like, and it's like Jason was mentally ill or something, and they made him young again, and they
they did that stupid thing again where, like, Freddy turns him into a boy like he got turned into in part 8.
And they actually show, which they never, I don't think they only did it when he was like in the lake drowning. I don't think they showed anything before. They showed the kids taunting him because he looked terrible. His head was all shaved, and the kids were making fun of him, and they put a bag over his head, and they threw him in the lake. And the final girl is seeing this. I think this is part of her dream. And
the final girl, you want to mention the fact that she tries to save him, and then she pulls him out of the water, and she sees how deformed he is, and then she throws him back in, like, like what a bitch, like what a shitty final girl, like she's such a stereotype, like ew. She won't save him because he's deformed. He's a deformed kid. Remember that?
She tries to save him, but then she, like Marco said, I don't know, I think she was shocked by what he looked like.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Yeah, I know. And so, it just ends up in the end, Jason's sick of Freddy, and Freddy's sick of Jason, and they just start fighting each other and throwing each other around and knifing each other, and you know, they're both like invincible and unkillable, and and finally the girl gets sick of it. She's really mad at Freddy because Freddy is the one who killed her mother, and so she gets gasoline and she pours it all over the dock because they're in the lake. They're by the Crystal Lake, and she pours gasoline everywhere, and then she lights it, and she and her boyfriend or whatever he is,
the pretty boy,
they jump in the water to get away, you know, so they don't get burned up, and you see them, those two fighting, and then in the end, Marco doesn't mind. It's just so convoluted. I don't think we should go through every little bit of the action. Well, you see, you think, they're both dead. Ha ha. All that for nothing.
Yeah, it was really like pointless. Like, it ends in a draw. What a fucking letdown.
And they're still alive.
Yeah.
Jason comes out of the water like nothing's happened, and he's holding Freddy's head. And
Freddy winks.
And Freddy talks, too. Which means he's not dead. Because Jason doesn't say anything. He may have, in a couple of the movies, he may have grunted or something.
Yeah, like, he would go like, or, or he does the...
Yeah, there's that, which is actually...
Which is really cool.
Yeah, I like that. I think adds something different to a horror story.
Except in these later movies, it almost feels like an afterthought where...
Well, they hardly play it.
You know, how is he even making that noise with his mouth?
Well, maybe they record it. Maybe it's a recording.
It is, but I mean, like, it doesn't really feel like in the earlier movies where it's the actual character doing it. It just feels like an add-on.
So anyway, that's the end of the movie. And of course, the girl and the boy, they live happily ever after.
Yay!
It's really weird. Because Jason's walking around, so he's going to still be a menace. And Freddy is still alive.
And Freddy is definitely going to want to get her.
People's nightmares stay alive. So
I really feel like...
What was the point of this movie?
Well, that's what I wanted to get to. I really felt like the point of this movie was, and the point of getting the Friday the 13th franchise, was just for New Line Cinema to make money off of Friday the 13th. Like, I don't think that they bought the rights so that they could make what the fans wanted. I think that they just bought the rights so that they could get the fans, trick them into seeing this crappy movie, and then giving them all their money.
Yeah, and you just have to wonder if it's what you would call a pointless movie. It's just pointless. Because
Speak up, Safi.
It's what you call a pointless movie. There's just no point to it. There's no resolution. There's nothing.
No.
And these characters, these villains, are still out there. And who are they going to target first? The girl and the boy. And I don't think there's anything after this that...
No, there's not.
...speaks to that, so...
Well, that's because this I don't know how well this movie did, but, a lot of people did not like it, and some people do like it, though.
There's always somebody.
Like with Goosebumps.
Yeah.
The Goosebumps series.
All the kids today wear pearls to school. Oh, brother.
Wouldn't it be funny if Jason wore pearls?
I don't want to make fun of somebody saying that, but it just sounds ridiculous to me. I don't believe it. I have pearls that my mom left me. They're black ones. They're special. I don't really wear stuff like that.
Are they Dolomites pearls?
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, I'm not really a big jewelry person, and she left me stuff in her inheritance, and it's really hard to know what the value is and how to sell it, where to sell it. Like, I made 3 sales today, which is good. But one of them is almost worthless because there's no shipping. I didn't see that. They just did that to me. And I know you don't want to hear about that, but it's just that person who said girls and boys wear pearls to school. I don't believe it. I don't know why she would say that. And she said something about skulls. And I know I do have, because my mom was... and I am not like her, but her father was a Filipino. And she went to the Philippine Islands to talk to the family members who were related to her and me. And she brought back these strings of cowrie shells on a necklace that she had bought. And I could see somebody wearing something like that, a boy or a girl, maybe. A girl, of course, I'm not sure a boy, but, maybe. But that's not pearls. That's completely different. I know we're digressing, but I wish somebody who's listening to this, that they would tell me, if they have kids in high school, if they know about them wearing pearls. And she said something about everybody's going back to the 90s. 90s fashion is in. I'm not really sure what she means by that. I was going to look that up. I'm still going to look it up. But that actually wearing pearls was part of 90s fashion. I don't know what the hell she's talking about.
No.
I was around the 90s. I don't remember pearls being fashionable, but maybe they were.
Safi, let's get back to Freddy versus Jason.
There's just nothing to say. It's just
yeah,
pointless.
there is. There's tons of stuff to say.
Well, it's just pointless because there's no resolution. So it's Jason versus Freddy. Okay, they had a little fight, and they both got knocked into the water and burned up and cut up and chopped up and mashed up, and then they emerged, both still alive.
They emerged
out of the water like they could walk on water, like they were saints or something.
Well, I will also say that this movie sucks for the millionth time, and I really feel like it's not even watchable in like a good bad way mostly.
Now, I would never watch this movie again.
I might watch it again, but it would take to be in a mood to watch it again. I really hate too the music. I hate this
I don't even know what the music is. It's not.
There's some shitty rock music that they play.
It's not
like
script.
when they start fighting, like they play rock music. Like what a fucking stupid choice for music in a Freddy versus Jason movie. What a piece of shit. Like they had Nightmare on Elm Street music, but they didn't have any Friday the 13th music. They didn't have any creepy music from the first one or anything. Like, they couldn't do that because this was all about New Line Cinema promoting Freddy Krueger, which, honestly, like, I really don't like this Freddy anymore because he at this point, he's just become a joke. A complete joke. And, you don't need that ugly singer girl to make fun of him for me to think, like, yeah, he's a joke. Like, his character, he was really good in parts 1, 2, 3, 4, and New Nightmare, but he turned into a joke. And it's all because New Line Cinema, they are so idiotic that they let him be turned into a joke. And in this movie, it really, really affects it. Like, just imagine how good this movie could have been. And imagine how good it could have been if Freddy Krueger was a serious Freddy Krueger, like from the first movie. Like, that would have been really, really good. Not this stupid Freddy that, like, jokes around all the time and you don't take him seriously. Like, I don't like that, Freddy.
Well, I don't know. If you think about at the beginning, you're wondering how this is supposed to be set up. And really, it's basically mostly, like Marco said, Friday the 13th, which I'm not really that familiar with.
What?
And
Friday the 13th?
I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street, sorry.
Speak up, Safi.
And I just, it's crap. And I can't even say anything else about it. I don't even know what kind of food review I'm going to have to sit here and think about.
Really? Why?
Because it's just like it's just like the Batman versus Superman one.
Well, you gave that one burned meat or something, if you remember.
Well, that's probably what I'm going to give this one.
Oh.
I was thinking of it, but I accidentally, it was on, because sometimes that movie is on.
What?
Batman versus Superman.
Ew.
And I didn't want to ever even watch it to begin with. I think we watched it because we reviewed it.
No, we watched it because I wanted to see it in theaters, because I wanted to see the 3D or something, and I just wanted to laugh at it, and I thought it would be funny to watch Safi complain about it, and Safi started laughing in the middle of the movie, and it actually upset someone, and they got so mad they left.
Well, I couldn't help it.
Because it was so bad.
I don't think I've ever done that since then or before that time.
No.
And, I've seen some crappy movies, and I may have seen a few of these Friday the 13th movies. We've seen, some of them had a few laughable.
Well, Jason X was laughable the whole movie.
And I couldn't help it, but it came on TV because we have all these streaming. We subscribe to a few streaming services, And I'm like, I just switched it off immediately because it's so stupid. And then this movie is the same. It's the same kind of thing. It's really pointless, and in a different way, because what was the object? What were they looking for?
Just them fighting,
I guess
essentially.
so.
Oh yeah, we need to talk about Jason too, because this Jason is the worst Jason of the whole series. He's a little bitch. He's a slowpoke. He's a retard. He's terrible. I hate Jason in this movie. He sucks. He looks terrible. His costume looks like trash. You got the stupid eye thing where he's got the one eye and just he looks like someone in a fucking Halloween costume. And this was the movie where they replaced Kane Hodder for no reason at all. And I fucking hate it. I hate it so much. The Jason in this movie. Maybe if Jason and Freddy were both good, I would like it more too. Like, Freddy is a joke, and Jason is a mama's boy loser, slowpoke idiot. Maybe if they were good, then I would like the movie more. But this is not my Freddy, and this is not my Jason. What did you think, Safi? Did you like Jason? Did you think that this was a good Jason? This slow, idiot Jason who just... God, this Jason sucked. I hated this Jason with a passion. This Jason is almost as bad as, the Superman from Batman v Superman. The killer Superman who killed innocent citizens and everything. Safi? Are you going to add anything?
I don't have anything to say.
Oh, you didn't think anything of Jason in the movie?
It was a terrible
What did you think about Jason?
It was the real Freddy Krueger, the actor who plays him, for that.
But he was a joke.
And then...
Did you like Jason? Did you think that this was a good Jason?
All you would see him do would be stand there.
Yeah.
And then he starts stabbing.
And he just stands there, too. Like, Freddy attacks him, he just stands there like an idiot.
And the other guy who played him, Hodder, he actually, stalked them. Physically stalked them. And this guy didn't really do that.
No.
So... I know what my food review is now.
What is it?
Okay, well, my food review is going to be a burned hamburger.
Ew.
That's Jason. And a burned hot dog.
Ew.
And that's all I could give it because it's a terrible movie. It shouldn't have been made. There's no resolution, and there's no point as a result. Because they're still there. They're still a threat. And who's going to be the main source of their next victimhood? It's going to be that girl and boy. And
that's not ever going to happen, though.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, if you're thinking about it in terms of reality, which is hilarious, that's what it would be. But it's a stupid movie. Don't even bother.
No.
Unless you want to
laugh at it.
Unless it's like a collection, like you watch all the movies in the series because you want to say,
I watched them all.
All of them, right?
Even the bad ones, like this one.
Bad ones, which is, that's your prerogative. We're just warning you, and I just don't. It's back to why do people get these projects? They get the money, they hire people, and they waste the money.
And you know what's even more embarrassing, Safi? They worked on this movie for 10 years.
Hey, Marco, what's your
Okay, I had to think of something outdated. Because this movie is really outdated. Not in the sense that it was offensive or something, but it was outdated in the sense that it's something I don't really want to watch anymore because it sucks and because it's just not entertaining. Like, it has some bloody action at the end, but it just sucks. Like, I hate it so much. This movie really cements in those stereotypes with, you do drugs, you die, you have sex, you die. It has such terrible characters. They're so ugly and unlikable because they just look like the early 2000s in human persona. Their wardrobe sucks. So I would have to think about something from elementary school that I used to eat as a kid and like it sometimes, and I never want to have it again. And that was chicken patties and chicken nuggets.
Yeah, I was just thinking about chicken nuggets.
With mashed potatoes and gravy. Now, at our school, it was rumored that, like, in the chicken nuggets and chicken sandwiches, that there was, like, chicken gizzards and chicken beaks and chicken feet ground up.
Oh, God.
I don't even know, but it was there was some really gross stuff, and sometimes they tasted good because, like, you could put barbecue sauce on it, on the sandwich, or you could dip the nuggets in barbecue sauce or ketchup, and then you had, well, now the mashed potatoes were not very good, because they had this gravy, and the gravy, it looked and tasted like snot, like salty snot, and so having like a snot sandwich with a snot mashed potato and gravy with a chicken sandwich, and then the chicken nuggets, that's this movie. It's something that I had as a kid, and I don't want to have it again. It's gross. It's just not very good. You can have a lot better chicken sandwiches, like at Wendy's, back when they had the grilled chicken sandwich. You can have better chicken nuggets at Wendy's. You can have better chicken nuggets everywhere, except for elementary school. And it really is like an elementary school type of movie because it's just so immature and juvenile in terms of, like, a lot of the earlier Friday the 13th movies, even though they dealt with stupid teenagers getting killed, they felt really mature, like they were written by someone with a brain. And this movie felt like it was written by someone who was like age 5. 5-year-old Hollywood writer. Safi, what are you doing?
Know.
Are
I'm
you
just
taking a nap?
No, I'm just sitting here listening to your food review.
Oh.
I gave my food review, you're giving yours, and that's it.
Yeah, and there was this one time that I ate the chicken nuggets, and there was like a ball of bone, and it was like a ball. It was like a literal bone ball. And it was so hard that, like, if I had chewed, it would have broken my teeth open. Because it was like a bone ball, and it was like as big as a penny. And it was thick, and it was so gross. And I stopped. I couldn't eat that stuff anymore, those chicken sandwiches. I couldn't handle it. It was so gross.
Yeah.
Safi?
I'm trying to remember. Did you just not eat anything, and then you just, as soon as you got out of school, you ate something, or did you have a snack? I don't remember what you did.
Well, no, in elementary school, I ate the food there. It was a middle school where they stopped offering the same food. They started only offering like these shitty things, like you could get a pretzel for lunch. Guys, like, having a pretzel for lunch, that sounds really good for you and nutritious. And so you'd have a pretzel with a dessert thing and milk. That's your lunch at middle school. And so I just thought, I won't eat anything at all. And then in high school, I would eat a protein bar with my G Fuel at school. And then I'd have my real lunch after school. Sapi?
Okay, well, I don't know what else to say. I don't want to say anything else about it. I want to just stop because it's a shitty movie. We didn't like it. And there's no point. It's pointless for us to keep going on about it. So, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And tell me about if you know high school kids who wear pearls to school. Boy or girl? It doesn't matter. And please become one of our subscribers and tell us what you think about these movies. Did you see this one? Do you want to see it? I mean, not going to get down on you for seeing the movie. If you want to see it,
No.
go right ahead.
This is just like a fun, bad movie that I don't care.
The last
You like it or
movie,
you don't.
the last movie about going to space, that was a bad movie too, but it was funny.
It was very
And it was
fun.
just fun. It
Yeah.
was just it was light and entertaining. And if you're in the mood to see, an entertaining bad movie, then that would be the movie to see. This one's just trash, and it's like that Batman versus Superman movie. It should never have been made, even though it's a different kind of thing. It's the battle of the villains with no resolution.
It could have been made if it was made good.
And then the other one was Battle of Superheroes, which makes absolutely zero sense, since they're both there to protect people. So that just to think about that, the premise. But Marco said it's in the comics. The actual
Yes, Safi,
comics.
you saw the animated movie that was the adaptation of the comic.
It's just
You
ridiculous.
saw
I
it.
just can't believe that. That's what I mean. It's just every day there's something. And tomorrow's Monday, and there's unbelievable stuff going on. It just freaks me out.
But to
So
be
the-
fair, there are good versus movies, like Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, House of Frankenstein. So,
Yeah, okay.
just
Well,
saying.
So goodbye, everybody.
Bye!